Hi guys, welcome back to Julian's Garden. I hope you're all doing well. In the video today, I'm going to have some parsnip because we love eating them very much. We've been eating mostly every week, and I will give some away as well to my friends and my neighbor. So I thought that maybe we will show you how to grow and care for parsnip. So in our area, parsnip, most of the time I sow the seed all year round because we don't have very hot freezing temperature, so there's no problem for them to germinate. But in the winter we have less sunlight and low temperature. They will take a little bit longer for them to germinate, sometimes 3 to 4 weeks. But with the temperature like 20, 25, 30, normally they germinate pretty quick, so around 2 weeks. And here's a garden bed that I grow a lot of parsnip. This is the garden bed. Let me show you a little bit. The garden bed that I got in Aldi, I think the depth is around 40 centimeter depth. Because the parsnip, they, in order for them to have very strong root and the root not go wonky, I don't know how to say that, they not go straight. In order for them to go very straight like that, you need to have the loose soils, rich, moderately rich, and very deep garden beds. If you have a very clay soil like we have here in Canberra, Australia, just a fly keep annoying me. And so this area, I only have only 3 hours of sun in the afternoons, and I find myself best I can just dedicate the whole bed to grow my parsnip. Just fly keep annoying me. And this garden bed, I got it 3 years ago, or less than 3 years, but since I got it, I mostly to go beetroot, parsnip, and sometimes pak choy as well. So this garden bed, I sow all the seeds together. I think I might mention to you a while ago that the beetroot, pak choy, parsnip, and some I think radish as well. I mix all the seeds together, and then whatever they produce like pak choy and radish, I have it the first, and after the beetroot, and here the parsnip. Here at the end of the result, after quite a while actually, because I sowed the seeds at that time, I think late autumn or in the winter, I don't remember, but it took very long time. So at that time, I saw it was quite late and low temperature, so it took them around 3 weeks for them to germinate. And then, and after that, they grow until I think a month ago, and I started having them. I can show you here. We have it, the half of the garden bed already. Can you see that? And here is the other half, and plus I got some on the other garden bed on the other side as well. So parsnip, they go best in very loose and rich soil and moderately moist as well. You don't want them to dry out either. But when they we sow the seeds, and you have to make sure they always damp. Otherwise, the seed will dry out. They might not germinate, or they not germinate as well. And make sure when you buy the seeds package and choose a nursery or the store that you bought, that they often they're very busy, so they often sell out the seeds very quick, and they always rotate it. So you will end up often they very fast. This seed I often to buy in Bunnings actually. I'm not fussy about that. But if you can save the seeds for your own, from the parsnips that they grow from the previous seasons, and I really encourage you to doing that. And I haven't done it before actually. But I just don't want when if I miss out harvesting or collecting the seeds, and the seeds just flew everywhere, and I end up just pulling parsnip everywhere, and they can feel like they're a little bit weedy like that. I don't want that. I just want they stay in nice and juicy area that I want them to grow. And this garden bed, I got all the drip irrigation for them. I do find that when they can start established, just grow over 20 centimeter tall like that, they're more hardier than other type of vegetable. Hardier, what I mean is they can tolerate a little bit on the dryness size. So a lot of vegetables, you know that they love always moist, but this one can stay on a little bit of dry side for a very short period of time, but you don't want them to dry out either. And I do find that they take quite a long time for them to grow or to produce a actual parsnip for us to have it as well. I often harvest the parsnip around maybe 3 centimeter wide, but sometimes I let them to grow a little bit quite bigger if I don't have them on time. And parsnip, I do find that they can stay in the soil quite a long time as well if you don't need them or you don't eat them, but you don't want to leave them too long in the soil because on the top of the parsnip or at the bottom of the parsnip they will get rotten. So make sure you don't leave them too long when they think your parsnip getting big. You can leave the little one in there and for them to continue to grow, but make sure you have it all the big one. And in this garden bed, when I planted, I fill all the garden bed with mushroom compost. Now, if you don't have mushroom compost, you just use your homemade compost or other compost as well. You don't have to do that. Just the way I doing it, I just want to share my experience with you. But make sure you don't want to give it too many manure because after that your parsnip produce so many leaves like this. They produce next roots or they don't produce much of your root. I think that is root or actual parsnip. And here I will show you what my parsnip look like. We have it a lot. I recommend sow the seeds directly into the soil. Sometimes I sow quite thick and I don't want to top the seasoning out, and sometimes most of the time I don't want to thin them out either. And so I did thin some but not much at all. So I will before I noticed when I have it on this side, and I noticed that some of them is very close together. They're just so close together, right? Because I didn't have heart to pull them out. Some of them I pulled and I transplanted it, and I noticed that the one that I transplanted it, they don't have a straight root and big root. Strong parsnip, the long parsnip that we follow nicely like this. They just spread the root everywhere because after we dig it up and transplant it, they go like that. And even if you sow the seed in seasoning trays, and when you transplanted it, and they will grow like that as well. They don't grow straight like you sow them directly into the soil. So I have been selecting to harvest the big parsnips and leaves the small ones to harvest them later, so for them to get more time to get mature. And by selecting what I mean, to go down into the base of the parsnip like this and just sweating out the soil on the top, and you can kind of see how big their roots are. And if you have any time frame that you want to dig on your parsnip up, it could be better if you can reduce watering or the amount of water for your parsnip maybe around 2 weeks before you harvesting them. Because if you are still watering like as normal, or if you have too much water and the water or your garden bed is not drained away well, and your parsnip might have a chance to get splitted. Oh, look at that, it's so big. Okay, can you see that? It's so big. And the wood is very straight as well. Oh my goodness. This one have a very funny way. That's okay, would you? Oh my goodness. Let me show you this one. Giant one, but it got kind of 4 legs actually. Going quite straight, but it got 4 legs. One more. This one going very straight too. Can you see that? pretty good too. And I want to have it some of parsnip in this garden bed as well, because I know they're getting very big. And we did have it lots on this side already. Some of the parsnip they little small because I sowed them very thick together. I didn't want to thin them out. And some of the little one I still left them there. And on this side I got the 2 vial cucumber I plant, and they're going very well, and they produce a lot of beautiful cucumber. We have them every day. I hope you can see it clearly. Look at that. And the bees all over it. So it's very good for them to got pollinators. And here, let me put some of the parsnip out. They go very big together. Hopefully I can pull them out. Yesterday I gave some to my friends, and I got a little bit trouble to pull them out because they go so big. Okay, here we go. It is looking very big. Not sure if I can pull it up. Oh. Okay, here I got it. Oh my goodness. Can you see that? So big. I don't know how many grams of this one actually. Can you see that? They're just huge and so big. Let me pull out some more. Okay, here's this one. Okay, this one very huge too. Look at it. This is huge. I never seen anything like this before. Look at that. It's just so big, and look at it. It goes so straight. Okay, a few more. Oh wow, this one is so big too. Oh my goodness. Can you see that? It's so big. Alright, so I think this lot will do for us tonight. And let me show you some of the close-ups. As I said earlier, make sure you don't leave your parsnip too long or when they are getting too big. Otherwise, you can see they start rotten. Example like this one. You can see this one, I think this one I transplanted it, so the root is going to different direction, and when they get too big, and this one start rotten. For me, it's fine. We just cut the this bit off, the rotten bit off, and we just eat down here, so no problem for us at all. And this one as well, they got so big. And you can see down here they got a little bit rotten. I did trim it off, so I just kind of show you what it look like when they get too big, they will get rotten. Okay, so make sure you don't leave your parsnip too long. So in a lot of websites saying that if you want your root crop of like beetroot and parsnip, they get more sweeter, or they get sweeter, and it's better to leave it for several nights. They got hit by the frost. For me, it's very true to beetroot and carrot, but with the parsnip, I can't tell actually. We tested, they have the same sweetness, they taste the same, maybe just different variety. But for me, so that's why I like it, and that's why I go with all year round, and we love eating them. And parsnip is go best in full sun, but if you don't have full sun, you can plant them in partial shade as well, and make sure they got very good drainage for that. They be for neutral pH level. They can tolerate a little bit more slightly acidic or slightly alkaline, but they don't like anything between too acidic or something too alkaline. So make sure you kind of prepare or test your soil well. For me, parsnip very easy to grow, and I don't do much with them actually. They're very easy to care for as well. Once they starting to germinate, and you might want to look through around and thin them. But other than that, it's very easy to grow. And here is a packet of the seeds. This packet I got in Bunnings. Can you see that? It's very easy. Maybe I hope you can see the variety as well. And the maturity, it also depends on the variety of the parsnip seed you bought as well. And you can see at the back here, they recommend they sow them in the spring, also the seed in the spring and autumn, less in the summer and in the winter. You can see in the winter, they got only 3 tick down there. I sow it anyway if I have some more room in the winter, because they just take a little bit longer for them to germinate, that's all. And here I will show you how to sow the seed. So if you look on the website, they recommend like to don't sow the seed too deep, and just kind of review it, and then just top a very thin layer of sand or vermiculite to keep the seeds moist. But for me, normally I don't do that. I sow them a little bit deeper than they recommend actually. And here I often hit a packet of seeds. I just got a lot of flies just flying all over me. Okay, let's tear the packets of seeds out. Can you see the fly just flying all over me? I think maybe I'm dirty. Okay, so you can see the seeds are very thin though. Very flaky and thin, just so thin. So in this time, I will sow the parsnip alone. I'm not mixing with anything else. And I will keep an eye on it, make sure it stays moist all the time as well. We got a lot of rain lately, but I do turn the irrigation sometimes as well. But whenever I don't turn the irrigation on, I will just bring 1 bucket or 2 over here to water all the seasoning throughout. And I feel that's way going to be better as well, because when we sow the seed, it's better to water them or dam them with the hose or the watering can than the drip irrigation, because most of the time the hose of the irrigation just kind of concentrates in one area, so they can't quite spread out all around as well. So that's the way I prefer doing it. And first I just make a trench. Maybe show you a little bit closer. All right, so first I just make a trench. So I still intend go to 3 rows. You can see I got 3 rows of drip irrigation in here, so I will sow 3 rows of the parsnip as well. I just make a trench, and I normally sow the seeds around 4 centimeters deep, I could say. And this time I will try to thin them out, and although I won't sow them as thick as that time. Okay, so here the seed, I just slightly sprinkling them down. And because of the parsnip, they have a poor germination, so I will sow them a little bit thicker than the other crop or than the other vegetable, so they have a more chance to germinate. And I always can thin them out if I want to. So 1 row done, and I just cover them up. I don't. For me, if I sow them too shallow, the seedling just go when they're going up like this high or 5 centimeters high, they keep falling over. I find that it's better to sow them or plant a little bit deeper, just like broccoli or cauliflower. So the root they get stronger, and they will not leaning or falling over. Let me make on the trend for this. On this side of the garden bed, I did add some manure, chicken manure, well-rotted chicken manure, and some mixed with some sand together in here, because I got it on hand anyway. So I just mix them two together. And so I sow the seeds in, sprinkling them down, and here I'm going to make another trench on the other side. Alright, all done, and I will water them in. So with this weather we got lately, the temperature around over 20 degrees Celsius. They will germinate very quick between over 2 weeks. And so that is for the video today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please write down in the comment below, or if you have any other experience with your growing parsnip, please write down and please let me know. I would love to hear what your thoughts, what you're thinking, or what your experience, and if you love growing them and what you love cooking with them. And thank you so much, and see you next video. Bye bye.